In a small town nestled between riverbanks and sprawling farmlands, the people were known for one thing above all else: farming and fishing. From sunrise to sunset, the youths of the town are in the fields or river, casting their net with such dedication that even the state government admired them. They were so committed to their way of life that when the government offered them a lucrative white-collar jobs in the city, they collectively refused, preferring the simplicity and fulfillment in farming over the lure of corporate world. However, among these hard-working youths was a young man named Kane, who seemed utterly different. While others rose early to till the soil or cast their nets into the river, Kane would sleep late, wake up lazily, eat the best meals his family could provide, bathe leisurely, and spend the rest of his day watching the fishermen from afar. He never lifted a finger to help, much to the frustration of his father, Peter, who was well respected in the village for his own dedication to the land and river. Peter often sighed and lamented, "My son, it's as though you are from another planet, like the city people who don't understand the value of hard work." Frustrated, Peter spoke to the only army general from their village, a man named General Eric. He pleaded with the general to take Kane under his wing and mold him into something better, something respectable. Perhaps the army will give him the discipline he needs. Peter said with a heavy heart. General Eric, understanding Peter's pains, agreed. On day he arrived the village with truck full of army and whisked Kane away to the barracks. The people of the town were elated that someone from their village was finally joining the military ranks after so many years. To celebrate, the army decided to give Kane special treatment. There would be no grueling training, no hard drills. Instead, they assigned him to an office where he would sit and wait until the training was over. Once the rest of the recruits finished their rigorous training, Kane would be inducted along with them. But even with this special treatment, Kane found no joy in military life. He complained incessantly about the food, bland and watery soups with no fish or meat like the rich dishes he is used to in the village. He grumbled about the long days of sitting around with nothing to do. The army barracks felt like a prison to him, and he longed for his idle life back home. After 3 months of boredom and dissatisfaction, Kane decided he had had enough. One morning, the soldiers awoke to find that Kane had disappeared. He had vanished into the night, taking with him only a training gun, a gun that shot harmless. Hot bullet meant to stun rather than injure. The army searched for him everywhere. The soldiers combed the fields, the riverbanks and even the forests, but there was no trace of Kane. His family, heartbroken, believed he was dead, and after many weeks of searching, both the army and the village gave up. But Kane was not dead. He had wandered far into a dense, untamed forest, so deep that he stumbled upon a primitive tribe of people, unlike anything he had ever seen. These were Homo erectus men, living as humans thousands of years ago. They lived under the trees, hunted wild animals, foraged for plants, and wore nothing but the earth's elements. At first, they viewed Kane as an intruder, a threat, and probably one of their meals. But Kane, armed with his training gun, managed to subdue a few of them, stunning them with the hot bullet. Seeing their comrades fall, the rest of the tribe grew fearful and bowed before him. They led him to a great tree, their central dwelling place, where the king and queen sat on a throne made of banana leaves. Though they ruled the tribe, even the king and queen bowed to Kane, fearing the strange power he wielded. Over time, using signs, gesture, and symbol, Kane communicated with the tribes. He slowly began to learn their ways, and they in turn began to learn from him. With his influence, the tribe's lifestyle began to change. They started to adopt small pieces of civilization that Kane introduced to them. He taught them to make clothes from animal skins, to hunt more efficiently, and even to construct simple shelter. As the seasons passed, Kane grew into a leader, a role he had never sought but one he now embraced. Eventually, he brought a group of the tribe members back to his village. They were welcomed as curiosities, and through this exchange, the tribe began to adopt even more of the villagers' ways. Education, socialization and amenities were introduced to the Homo erectus tribe, transforming their way of life forever. Kane, once the laziest youth in the village, became the first head of state for this newly educated tribe. His unlikely journey from idleness to leadership had taken him to a place he never imagined. The boy who once did nothing had now become a king in his own right, a king of a people who had once lived in the shadows of a great trees but now stood on the edge of a new future, all thanks to the lazy boy who had wandered into their midst. And so, Kane, the unlikely king, ruled not with force, but with the strange wisdom he had gained from his time in the village and his wanderings in the wild. In the end, he had found his place in the world, a place he was both respected and loved.